So you're interested in getting into handheld emulation, but you don't really know where to start. Well, let me introduce you to the Anbernic RG35XX, probably the best small form factor handheld emulator you can buy for money right now. Over the last few years, the emulation hardware market has literally exploded. There are dozens of competitors with dozens of different models, with dozens of different hardware specs. And it's really getting hard to have a clear view about what's on the market and maybe even what's about to come to the market, because some of the models are so similar, even amongst the brands, that it kind of starts to get confusing. To name a few of these brands, Anbernic, Retroid, AYN, Powkiddy, Miyu. There's also some heavy hitters entering this market like Asus and Razer. So the market is expanding and growing, and there's kind of no end in sight, to be honest. These different brands have also different models, from starter budgets to high-end enthusiasts models with big screens, full body cases, and many, many more upgrades. It's really interesting. There are some incredibly talented YouTubers covering all these brands and models. RetroGameCorps, ETA Prime, TakiUdon. I will put some of the links to those channels in the description. So if you're interested, I would advise you to go there and check them out, because I won't be able to cover all the market has to offer in this video. I will give you a little insight what I would advise you to get in the year 2023. Cover pretty much everything you could ever need, to be honest. Okay, if there's such a huge market, why did I get the small Anbernic? The small is the key factor. I was in searching something that was really lightweight, that was not taking too much space, something that was also really cheap, so I could throw it in my backpack, take it on my bus and train traffics to work and back, to spend some time with it. The Anbernic RG35XX pretty much covered all of this. The design aspect, also with the homage to the original DMG Game Boy, is also a really nice touch. I ordered my Anbernic directly from the Anbernic store page. There is thankfully for a few months now a European warehouse in Spain and in Poland. Sadly though, many of the models are sold out, and there's a back order from the white and the purple, which is thankfully, because a few days back they were completely sold out in all of Europe. So some models are coming back in, and this is great for the Christmas market, because if you are in search of a present, this is pretty much one of the best presents you can make someone that's interested in retro gaming. My model was also shipped from Poland. It was shipped by GLS, which delivered the package in 3 days to my doorsteps. It was a little bit more expensive, with 35 euros, but really fast shipping, well packaged. And if you order more than one model or any other model from Anbernic, it's totally worth it, in my opinion. It comes with a 3.5-inch screen with 640 by 480 pixels. But don't be fooled, this small screen packs some punch. It has some incredible viewing angles, colors and contrast and refresh rate. It feels kind of like a complete new experience playing some older games that you have seen thousands of times, because it's like a complete new experience seeing it in this small screen with this incredible quality. Included in the package is this small SD card with 64 gigabytes of different ROMs. I'm not using this SD card. On this SD card is also the original operating system. I modified my version of the operating system, but we will talk about this a little bit later. The ROMs that I am using is my private collection that I have built over the years. I will not tell you where you can get these ROMs, but I am completely convinced that you are capable of finding good solutions of finding these kind of ROMs. I also got myself this little case. I had not really much hope for it, but if it's back in order and you have a little bit extra cash to spend, I would advise you to get this case also. Now regarding the operating system, I have the Garlic OS from Black-Seraph on my gig. It's a custom operating system that is also now supported by Anbernic themselves. There's now a dual boot version where you can boot the original Anbernic operating system or the Black-Seraph Garlic OS. And I switched completely to Garlic OS. You're not forced to. You can also use the Anbernic operating system. One thing that the Anbernic operating system has over the Garlic OS is a search function. Garlic OS does not have has a search function as of now. Maybe in the future there will also be this kind of feature built in. I am not going to show you how to set up this upgrade to the Garlic OS. However, I will put a link to a great instruction video in the description. I will also put a link to Black-Seraph's Patreon, so you can support him with a little bit of cash if you are interested in Garlic OS, because it's a community development more or less, or a one-man development, to be honest. I did the dual SD card setup with on SD card on SD1 the operating system, and on SD2 the whole game library. That's also something you don't really need to do, to be honest. You can run it pretty much all on one SD card, but I had some extra SD cards lying around, so I made it this way, and it's not a mistake also to do it with the two SD cards. Now we are on the start screen. Here we have different folders with different informations. If we go into games, we see the original Atari all the way up to the PlayStation 1. All these game systems are more or less completely playable. There are always one or two games that are not completely running or not completely bug-free or stutter-free running, but we will talk about this also a little bit later. Now in the folder recent, we have a constructed structure of all the last games you played. It gives you a great overview what you played in recent time. It is also a great way to get back straight into certain games that you want to continue. And in the like folder, we can find all the games that we gave a favorite marker. So they are all collected and ordered in here also next to the game folders themselves. And in the last category, we have tools. This is the whole RetroArch architecture in the background that is running all your emulators. To be honest, I did not touch this at all. You will also probably never need to touch this. However, in here you can make some specific tweaks and adjustments to your cores that are running all the different ROMs from all the different game systems. I wanted also to show you the screen again. It's nothing compared to see it with your own two eyes. However, you get a really good image of how Sonic the Hedgehog looks on this small screen. The colors and pixel density is really incredible, and it's kind of shocking how good it looks. Now regarding the ergonomics, it's a smaller device, so we should not expect miracles. However, I was able to have some longer game sessions with it without any problems. The buttons are quite well. The D-pad also does a great job. There are some people that modified it with electric tape underneath the contacts to have a better directional input. However, I left mine the way it is because I did not really have any kind of problems with it. There are also shoulder buttons. To be completely honest with you, I did not use them in any shape or way. There are surely some games that are using them, but I didn't had any yet that use them in any kind of way. But they exist. There are also a lot of customizable options for these buttons on Etsy and other stores. If you search for it on YouTube, you can find some really nice modified Anbernics with some really interesting button layouts and variation in colors and designs. It's also a really, really interesting way to customize your small handheld. On the side, we have the two SD card ports for two SD cards. Like I said earlier, I put my operating system in the slot 1 and all my game systems in slot 2. That's not really necessarily to do. You can put everything in slot 1 and run your operating system with all your games from this one SD card and leave SD card slot 1 empty. There's also the power button, and on top is a HDMI port. This HDMI port can be used to connect your handheld to a TV screen. However, the Anbernic RG35XX does not have any Bluetooth or wireless controller support, so you would be forced to hold your Anbernic in your hands and then look up to the screen while playing it. So that's maybe something for special occasions, but for me, it's not something I'm planning on using, to be honest, in any shape or way. But it's nice to have, I guess. And on the back, we have the battery, which is removable and replaceable. Which is really easy to do, to be honest. It is also the biggest weak spot of the RG35XX. It is, however, also something that the community is working on. There are some really interesting new battery models going into development, which should also maybe double, if not triple, the playtime of the RG35XX in the future. I talked about how some games are not really running completely smooth because they are in need of more power. However, there's a really interesting way to fix this in the RG35XX. On the home screen, with the press of the select button, you can overclock your device. And with another press, you can double overclock your device. Doing so will need more electricity. You will get a really big performance increase, which I'm showing you the game Armed Police Batrider, which is really performance intensive. So this is also why we have some lag and stuttering while playing in normal mode. But if we go back into the menu and with 2 clicks double overclock the system, we have a near perfect game experience, rejoining into the game and playing it in the same spots. Just showing you how this works and how the performance is massively improved just by pressing the select button twice. GarlicOS has also some really useful shortcuts, and to access all these shortcuts, there is a shortcut. You only need to press the menu button and volume down, which will display a screen information with all the possible shortcuts and all the different effects that they have in a small description. The Anbernic has also a really incredible save state function. If you leave a game for any reason, let's say you have to go and you just turn your Anbernic off, it will create an automated save state from exactly the spot where you turned your system off. The moment you turn your system back on and rejoin this game, or you switch maybe from game A to game B, you will continue from exactly the spot where you left the last time you played the game, which is really great quality of life and convenience for these retro games that did not have any kind of save function back in the day. And also to show you this little bag that I got with my Anbernic, it's really incredible how well protected and snug it fits inside. And it's really also well made and feels great. So if you also want to protect your little handheld, this is really a great buy together with your. So this should also be really a consideration if you are going to order one of these handhelds. So in this really small form factor, we have hundreds, if not thousands, of games we can play over and over again, because these old retro games were meant to be played over and over again. That's why they were also kind of made for the arcade, to also rob you of your hard-earned coins, to be honest. However, they are kind of older games. I mean, sure, you can play PlayStation 1, and PlayStation 1 had some of the greatest JRPGs ever made, from Final Fantasy to Age of Dragoon. However, let's say you want to play some newer games, some other legendary handhelds, console games like the DS and 3DS. These games won't be able to be played on the Anbernic. Thankfully, though, the 3DS is by now an incredible emulation system with Homebrew installed on it. Right now, you can see a small snippet from RetroGameCorps' step-by-step video guide how to jailbreak your 3DS in the year 2023. It is very up-to-date and very well made. You should be careful, however, that you don't update your 3DS onto the newest drivers right now. I will put the link in the description. After installing the Homebrew on your 3DS, you can install different emulation systems directly from RetroArch and play your retro games, also your native 3DS games, as well as DS games. I used this R4 card back in the day to unlock my 3DS. However, there are some really easy ways to do it nowadays. And because Nintendo stopped the support for the 3DS, emulation and ROM support on the 3DS has really taken off in this year. Back in the day, I also bought these hand grips for my 3DS. They can be found on eBay. And they are also a great cheap addition to improve the comfort and ergonomics of your 3DS if you are interested in getting a 3DS. But let's say you're not interested in these old retro games or these kind of childish DS games with the double screen. You want to be able to play full-fledged games with incredible graphics, deep game mechanics and story, and all the kind of experiences that you could have by playing at home with your home console. Well, thankfully, there's the PS Vita. This is my PS Vita 2000. It is the cheaper model of the PS Vita with the LED screen and the full plastic body, which makes it a little lighter. And the LCD screen will also drain less of the battery. However, if you go and get yourself the 1000 PS Vita, you will get an incredible OLED screen with an aluminum frame, but then again, it will be a little heavier, and the screen will drain your battery faster. The prices for the 1000 PS Vita are also higher. After getting your PS Vita, you pretty much only need two more components. That's this SD card adapter and a large enough SD to store all your games. After that, you only have to log into your PS Vita, go into the web browser, go onto a homepage, and from there you only need to make a few clicks and your PS Vita is unlocked and ready to play nearly every game imaginable. From the whole PS Vita game library up to some incredible game ports and developments and custom developed games from the community, to the original PSP game library, which also has some incredible game diamonds that only a few people have played over the years. So the PS Vita is also an incredible handheld emulator that you can go and get yourself in the year 2023 and have an incredible experience with it, because the community has pretty much perfected the experience of this small handheld console that you can take with you everywhere. I also got myself these hand grips that I bought on eBay last year. They give you a lot of ergonomics and comfort while playing with the PS Vita. And it also comes with this great little stand to place your PS Vita in an upright position. I'm also not telling you to not buy physical games. Physical games is probably the best you can enjoy your games and collect them and have them for the future. However, emulation is in many cases the only way to be able to play many games because they either never were published in our regions or they were never published in numbers that made it possible for people to be able to play them back in the day or even today, especially today. If you go and check what used games are making these days, especially rare ones, there's a good chance that some games will never again be played in its physical form because for some people it's not a game but an investment. So I'm not telling you to do some illegal stuff. However, I am telling you to enjoy your games and your time. An honorable mention is also the Nintendo Switch. Next to being a great small handheld console, it also offers Nintendo Switch online subscription that gives you access to hundreds of retro games from Nintendo's catalog, but also some of Sega's classic retro games. This would also be a completely legal option. But let's say after all these incredible handhelds and all these incredible games, it's not enough. Let's say you want more games, you want more power, you want more screen, you want just more of everything. Well, there's now something on the market that's pretty much covering all of this. This is the Asus ROG Ally, and this we will talk about in the next video. I hope I was able to give you a little bit of an overview what handhelds you should maybe get in the year 2023 and what the possibilities are on the market. There's a lot of things you can spend your money on, so don't rush it. Research it a little bit more. Go check out some other videos and get an overview. Spend your money well and have a great day.